So I'm probably going to say this wrong, but anyway, okay, so the video here is for Jaimayy on YouTube. Person's having just a little issue getting Armored Core 2 started, so I'm just going to play basically the first half hour, explain a few early just tidbits, tricks for certain levels at the start. And then just like things to really look for. You know, build advice for an early start. Without just saying do this, I'm going to generally give some just build ideas. Let's speed through this because we don't need this.
If you fail, you die. I'll accompany you as an observer. Only have to keep in mind. Here they are. I'm on Earth.
About how long the intro is, actually.
System engaged.
Go straight along the road and clean them out.
I have to get used to this again. Haven't played AC2 in a while. I did that right before the opening. Got the double missile lock just blows them up. It's actually very... Yeah, just... Good note is missiles are really good in AC2, but they do cost a lot of ammo if you fire a bunch of them. Guess I missed him.
Not bad. Your piloting abilities are impressive. Congratulations. From now on, you are a Raven.
Also, just to explain what I was doing there, that's a more advanced trick, which is an overboost glide. So if you overboost and turn it off in the air, and then don't move towards any way, and just keep using the boost button, you can maintain the speed and just glide with it. So I typically do this one first because it's very easy, very quick early game mission. Especially using the limit release function of this game. I believe it's only a miss to kill him, right? Oh, sorry, it's 2, isn't it? Yep. There we go, we got about 29k from that. Well, the reason I'm saying missiles are expensive is while early on these ones aren't, later on you can fire like dozens of missiles a second and just really chew your money. So what we're doing here is there's actually a hidden part in here we can get to sell. But doing it this early, you do either need Human Plus or the limit release. Otherwise you have to wait till you get a generator and a booster to be able to get up there. Or even just a booster in some cases based on how you're doing it. It does have a lot of health, so we're going to be here for a second. This is also why I think it's a stupid thing to put one here. It's inside the AC test, and it has more health than a bunch of the bosses. I pick that up. That is a back radar part, but the good part about it is that you can sell it, and you get 2 of them. Back part you get 2 when you find it. I don't know what's up with the hitbox of this, but you know. I guess it stands up when it goes to shoot. I don't believe you have to finish. I'm pretty sure you can just quit and you keep it. But I always forget and would rather not have to go and do the first part again. So now we can go to the shop. Go to back units. Sell this not once but twice. And now we already have 76k to work with, which I would recommend getting a better right arm weapon and then a booster, unless you're doing an energy weapon, which then you want a generator. But just to show it, you just want to go for output for this. So the best generator, if I stop misinputting, best generator is this, and this is going to be the best generator until you get another one later from doing Belena missions, which is completely broken. But something else of note, there is a glitch in the game where your excess output, if it exceeds your booster's boost drain, you don't get above that boost drain. But for normal play, you're never going to have to worry about that, especially with how ridiculous the boosters, like the generators, get. So for the early right arm weapons, we can always do a better rifle. So opposed to this one, you can do this one. So overall, damage is better, fire rate's better. A sniper isn't necessarily bad, but the fire rate's quite low on them. Now, you're gonna... Okay, so the MG Saw uses a lot of money worth of ammo, but it is a perfectly accurate machine gun that can carry you through a lot of early game missions. If you can aim properly with it, it will really help you. But if you can't aim well, you're gonna be losing a lot of money. So you're going to power through using the power of this gun, but then when you need money for upgrades, you won't have it. Now, the bazookas are also very nice, if you can afford the weight. Shotguns, I wouldn't use them. The pulse rifles are very nice. This is a nice early energy weapon. Energy weapons don't cost ammo to fire, but they use energy from your energy gauge, which is why you'd want a better generator. Pulse guns are honestly very nice. There's no laser weapon yet, so honestly I would say either grab a generator and this pulse gun, a rifle, a bazooka if you're taking the back stuff off. Honestly, even like this handgun is quite nice, it's cheap. It'll do a lot of work. The MG Saw, if you're really stuck and you're not, but you can still aim, or just the general rifle. Now, the flamethrower is the best weapon in the game, but it's impossible to use, so I wouldn't recommend it. Just to make sure I don't have like an overflowing wallet, I will be grabbing this machine gun because it is quite nice. And my next buy I'm going for is going to be going for this booster. It's a bit drainy, but I'm good with using it. If you aren't sure with your energy yet, the V55 at the start is very nice. This one typically is not worth doing, I feel. So I'm going to be doing the bridge. Like, that first one has so many enemies, you really can't dodge. It's more of an introductory than, like, trying to actually profit off it. Like, you're going to get chipped away.
It's a Raven. All units, mission priority has changed. Attack.
It's not a bad first mission, but it's not really, yeah, it's just not profitable. Compared to the other ones, anyway. This one I'm doing because it's faster. This is probably worse than that one, but from the speed, I don't actually care.
System engaged.
As you can see, this machine gun is way too accurate for no reason. Though it does take a lot of bullets to kill someone. Now, I'm not trying to really fly around or do like high skill play here. I'm just trying to show early on what you can do just to keep on getting through for the, basically the early missions. I could be doing this, I could be dodging, which I would definitely recommend playing with the overall movement in this game, because that's where stuff like really excels at, is once you figure the movement out.
Objective achieved.
Like, this is one, as you can see, where you can definitely have, if you don't have a good weapon yet, you'll definitely struggle getting that before you get taken out. That should have given me the money I need for that other booster. Now, you will think that using a like higher draining booster, actually I do not have enough. Actually, I can just sell the missiles. And so you're gonna think that having a higher draining booster is going to make it harder to move. The fun fact is that is actually incorrect. Because of how like the speed and everything to your weight works, even though it looks like it's like I'm using more drain so I can fly less, because the boost power is almost doubling, it's gonna actually be easier to move around because your energy comes back very fast in the air when you aren't holding the boost button down. So now we have some options. This one is very, very drainy for just ammo and everything else. This is a horrible mission to do using the current weapon that I have, because you're going to spend like multiple tens of thousands on ammo. This one is honestly much easier, but I will do this one just to show it and how you can help like actually mitigate the loss of spending the ammo. Which is that we do have a blade. Enemies also will shoot the other enemies.
System engaged.
The first thing is you can't blade the small ones with these legs.
There are many enemy units.
So it's kind of annoying.
Prepare for multiple targets.
Like, this is one where the flamethrower, if I bought it, is really helpful. But again, I do not advise that for anyone to use early game. You're just not going to work with it. So as you can see, this does use ammo very quickly. And with just this gun, any of these disorder unit missions, you aren't going to have enough. So you have to know which ones you can hit with your blade, which are not small ones, and try to use that to fill in the ammo gap. And as you can see, I'm also using them to shoot the other ones. Also, actually, this gun also gives you a fairly nice lockbox, so you don't actually have to change that quickly. Honestly, this one isn't too bad if you do use your ammo properly, and as you see, when they're blowing up, at this point they are already dead. A very common early game mistake is people keep shooting them. So if you just keep holding it down into that, you will run out of ammo. But so for the actual mission here, if you do it right, you actually don't need to blade if you don't want to. Now with that money, I believe we can buy the generator I want to get. Also, surprise, this is not using human plus stats. If you want to do human plus, a lot of things will also probably be much easier. So I'm gonna wait for that FCS, at least because I personally don't mind changing to different parts. And this is gonna be a very easy one to do.
With the head.
I will. Oh right, I should probably actually put the generator on. So it will auto put on parts if you sell the one you're currently using. Since I only have one option, it's just on. So normally what you'd have to do here is fight your way through stuff, find these mines. I'm just going to kind of skip through using limit release. But except though this will show you where all of it is.
Don't know how much time is left, so collect and defuse them as quickly as possible. We've arrived at the target area, commencing AC drop.
I'm pretty sure I said I will that it will show you where it is. It will show you where they are.
System engaged.
You can shoot them. You don't actually have to. It doesn't matter for the mission.
Bomb defused. Bomb defused. Bomb defused.
That was a bad hard thing.
One more bomb left. Hurry. All bombs defused. Well done.
So heat is definitely a mechanic in this game. I typically never bother to purchase a like updated radiator for it, at least until the actual sequel, because your overboost doesn't create heat yet. Starting in Armored Core 2, Another Age, activating overboost builds up heat for a bit. So having more cooling, you can spam it a bit more. But for here, because it doesn't matter, the radiator in this game isn't good enough that you're going to not get overheated. So at that point, it doesn't matter how fast it goes off. So I don't really care for increasing the weight and heat load when I can fit other stuff. If you can fit it, by all means, go for it. But I typically don't. I typically don't bother with it. So now with this FCS, we have a good lock speed. We can put a ton of missiles on this. So something else I should probably also mention: if you're using a biped leg, if you try to use a cannon, you will have to kneel to fire. A quad can move on the ground and fire them, but not in the air, and a tank can fly or use cannons at any point, which is a really good thing to counteract that they're slower. They're basically a tank, hence the tank legs. Missiles are a biped's best friend, especially in this game and Armored Core 3rd Gen. So having an FCS like this allows me to now just start throwing a lot of missiles on this. They'll work very well. Okay, which one's capture cargo?
Meet the target.
Oh yes, this one, yeah. This is fine. So this one is kind of weird. You have to destroy the 2 turrets on top of the train. The rest of it doesn't matter. Or I guess the truck, whatever you want to call it.
We've arrived at the target
The rest of it
area.
doesn't matter.
Leaving the area of operations.
System engaged.
So I'm going to do the overboost glide just to get up to it. Probably am too close, so it's not going to work. There we go.
sorter unit?
Yep, and as you can see, your lock-on is now your entire screen with this FCS. Like different guns won't be as wide, but it doesn't necessarily matter. It's a very nice size. It doesn't aim far, so it's a shorter lock range than that starter one, but based on weapons and dodging and everything, you don't necessarily need that range unless you're doing missiles, but it does have longer lock range for using missiles than it does for this machine gun. Now I'm going to see when I can purchase a missile, and then my next buy is going to be a leg. So these ones are very easy to use. Every single lock fires off 4. That doesn't mean you can't get something like this that just basically has an 8 lock. Loads up very well for something big. Just for the purpose of not waiting for that other one, because there's only going to be like 10 minutes left because I'm doing about half an hour, I will be throwing this one on. And then our next buy is going to be a leg.
And the last hour, we've good.
So something good about missiles, you can lock on through walls. So for missions like this where there's obstacles, you can use it for cover to lock on, pop out, fire them, and go back. I tend to, especially for these early games, I tend to rush stuff because I have the just movement, the damage calculations, and like everything down. But playing safe is definitely an option.
Prevent the attackers from breaking our last line of defense. Points A, B, and C are relay points. You'll be notified when they pass each one.
You can also multi-lock with this
Stop the
FCS.
attacking units on all 3 routes.
And this is also why you want legs next, because if you land too hard, too high up a fall, as you can see, you get this like small micro stun when you land. Obviously, it's not very enjoyable. Also note that the boosting on the ground uses much less energy. And I'm trying to show off the missiles, so I don't know which one. I don't care. This helicopter's hitting those rockets. Take that out. Yeah, I would have normally just sprinted all the way across the map by now. Even with that, we're still ahead of schedule and still have to wait. Now, here is what the difference of like legs is, minus the fact that you obviously the stats, the load, weight, and like everything, and that quads can use cannons on the ground and tanks can always use cannons. Also, hover legs and tank legs have their own built-in boosters, so you don't have to buy one. But for the purpose of this, I wouldn't recommend using hovers, at least in this one. You're not really going to run into a situation where you need them. They're mostly for floating on like water so you don't die, but also they have very high skill movement on the ground if you can do it well. For Armored Core 3, you can use hover legs to really cheese a lot of the game and push through without skill, but that doesn't really help in this one. Now, so, for the differences, lightweight legs shrink your hitbox a bit, make you a lot more agile for how fast you can move and change direction. The heavyweights are very bulky, but you don't move as fast, a bit bigger hitbox than just what you currently have, but you can take impact without getting stunned. Really good if you're going for like, say, bazookas or a bunch of heavy weapons. Lightweights are good for just moving around fast, and midweights just like in the middle, rifle, any kind of laser weapon for like the heavier laser weapons. The machine gun still works on them. I typically stick with midweights because that's just what I like using. There's no reason that you have to use mid. You don't have to use anything else. You can use whatever you want. I typically also look for the energy drain. Well, I'm going to go with the O2A in this case, because those have like 2,000 energy drain. Lightweights have more energy drain, and I like to boost a lot. But like, if you really want, these are, while a high energy drain, very solid lightweight leg, has higher load capacity. The stability is quite nice on them. I'm going to go with these O2As, the weight's there, and you can basically do anything you want with these legs. For the arms, are there any arms I currently want to grab? Also, there are weapon arms where they're like built-in actual weapons. A bunch of them are very nice, but it's a bit harder to use them for how the frame works. They also have 0 defense, so you will be getting hit like a truck. Everything will hurt a lot. So the stat that I like is energy supply, because this is a % modifier for how much damage your blade does, or for for making energy shields better. So this is a 35% blade increase, which I think our current base arms are like 80, so it's a lot of increase. They're very lightweight, very decent energy drain. So it's really a lightweight blade arm that can fit in anything and also make it easier to fit other stuff. Like, even though it says low defense, not necessarily that bad. Actually, in this case, I'm gonna go with this one because the armor points are nice while the weight's a bit higher. The energy drain is still low. Because if you're playing earlier on like this, one thing that's gonna happen is you're going to get hit. So you might as well have a bit more extra bulk to it so that getting hit doesn't matter as much. As we have about 2 or so minutes left, going to quickly do one more mission here showing these legs off. And this is a fairly decent mission. So we're going to be going a bit over 30 minutes then. Like, if you're someone who wants to go faster, lighter weight parts are what you want. Just watch the energy drain on them.
Like everything here
because
is normal.
Having to stop is the worst case scenario for something lightweight. Midweight offers a bit of in the middle, and heavyweight is gold. Quads can be either fast or very heavy, spamming cannons, or lightweight using lug guns, chain guns, and stuff are very close up, while having very decent defensive ability, but they cost a lot of energy. Tanks are just, you want to just be an unstoppable killing machine. The most important thing for that, I'm an idiot. I went out of bounds because I was too busy talking. But that just goes to show, you have to pay attention. I was saying, yeah, so tanks are just, the biggest part of tanks is you have to make sure that with your current weapon loadout, you can cover the range you're fighting at. You are going to get hit. Overboost is your best friend for dodging missiles or cannons or other things while getting into the place that you want, whether it's point blank or farther out.
Commence attack.
Overboost is the best friend that a tank has. That's why the first gen of games, the tanks were kind of because they were slow and they couldn't dictate the combat range that they wanted. But as soon as they added Overboost, they became a lot better. Hovers are just all about being faster than everything else and basically controlling the combat range. Whether you want to be close up in someone's face, whether you want to kite and run away spamming spamming missiles, the hover leg dictates what the combat range is. But for the other issues is that they're very light, they're very energy drainy, they have built-in boosters that are typically also very drainy, and they don't really fly that well. But even their base movement speed without boosting on the ground is very fast, and then boosting on the ground is even better. Plus, they've got this jerky stop if you stop boosting that may seem like a penalty, but you can use that to dodge. Because like, if you're being, if you see a cannon coming at you, you can just let go and just immediately stop. And then whatever was trying to kill, and then it just dodges it. I thought also for a very long time that was, you had to like jump so you would stop that from happening before you let go of the boost, but you actually kind of want that. Because you can't bunny hop. Like, honestly, something I didn't mention for the whole time is, as you see, I'm typically bouncing around because just like how your gun, once it fully locks on, tracks the movement target, sorry, tracks the movement of your current target, so do theirs. So by constantly changing height, speed, the way that I'm currently moving, it makes their shots miss because it leads it to somewhere I'm not going to anymore. Which is why the quad having that jerk stop works so good.
Enemy bomber approaching.
Like, even this is decent movement if someone's shooting at you. And as you can see, the energy works great for the setup. The generator plus this booster just gets you going. And then you've got the energy to keep going once it starts. Now this setup may not permanently fly that well. You don't necessarily need to fly that well. Not gonna fly out again. So normally I try to take it out on the first pass before the small ones. Again, I was kind of talking, not paying attention. Okay, so if you're really going to be using missiles heavily later on, there is a different FCS called the LOD QHT. I killed it, but I flew out again, not paying attention because I was talking, but either way, you guys get the point. I'm not going to redo the whole video for this. I do these in one take, but regardless. Yeah, so the QHT LOD is amazing for missiles later. But this is really it. This is the early part of the game. As I just showed there, you have to pay attention to out of bounds. But hopefully this, this gives you help. If you have any other questions that you want to ask Jaimayy, anything about stats, certain later missions that you're stuck, I don't mind quickly jumping on and doing individual tutorials for those missions. I do all of these because someone asks. So hope you have a great day and hope you start to enjoy the series.